Bonjour mes amis and welcome to Chez Me. Today is going to be a little bit different, kind of. So I'm still going to be doing the split dye, but I am changing the color again. I've had this color before, so it's not new to me, but it's new since I am new to YouTube. The other sort of challenge that I have this time, which I didn't have the last two times, is the fact that, as you can see, my regrowth is quite significant. Oh, God. Usually I'm on top of it, but life gets in the way. I wasn't really in the mood to do it, so now I am. So here I am making this video for you guys. I usually do need foils to get my hair to this platinum, but because it's, you know, it's not completely fully grown out, I don't think I'm going to need foils for that portion. So I have to basically kind of do the bottom portion first, go through each section like I normally do, and then go back in kind of in that last like 20 minutes to half an hour of letting the bleach sit from on the rest of the hair, and go in on the roots, and then just keep checking every 5 or so minutes. I've not done this before, so I've actually always been able to do the roots, or I've just let it grow out completely and then just did a full bleach out on my own before. I've let my hair grow out quite significantly, and I've managed to minimize the breakage over the last couple of years just with the products that I've been using, and I don't want to break that streak.
And that's Mabel's guide to laughing for an uncomfortable amount of time.
It's definitely going to be successful this time because I've used it before, so there's no experimenting here. So I'm very excited. It is a ginger color. So it is this one. It's the same one that I used last video to bring that darker red, bringing it into kind of the copper realm. And I really enjoyed it. I really liked it because I've used it before. I have previous extensions that color matches, so I'm very, very excited to be using those extensions, mostly because I had really short hair when I bought them first. So I think with this longer hair now, with this longer length, it's gonna kind of blend in much nicer. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today because I just need something fresh, guys. I need something new. In terms of the split dye, like I said, I still really like it. That's why I'm not changing it yet. But obviously I can't put it on this hair, otherwise I'm going to have hot ginger here and kind of more of a copper or lighter copper here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be removing the red, just like in the other videos. If you want to see the whole process, that is in my first video, so feel free to check that out. But just to give you a little quick summary, I am going to be using Color Oops. This is tried and true. This is my holy grail of color removers. So really good with stubborn colors. Red is obviously a stubborn color. Once that's done, I'm going to have kind of just the lightened base of whatever the developer lightened my natural hair to, and then it will be the perfect canvas to put the ginger color on. Like last time, I like doing the bleach side first, so what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be, after removing that color, I'm going to be doing the bleach. After that, I'm going to be doing the red, and then afterwards I'm going to be toning. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I hope you enjoy the journey, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much. Let's go. So I wanted to sort of walk you through a little bit over how I section my hair, which is why I decided to film it a little bit in more detail this time. So I do have a mirror behind me, that way I can see what I'm doing. So what I do is I just do a very, very basic job at the beginning, sort of tie the majority away for easier separating after, and then I go through and kind of do it a little bit more detailed, and then at the very end, just because I can't get as close to my head, I do have my boyfriend kind of go through and just kind of do the last little bit of tweaks there. So my rule is always Obviously, after you've dyed your hair, you can't get it to the absolute perfection separation that you did initially. So you will have sort of red on one side and blonde on the other. What I do is I prioritize having no red on the blonde side, but I'm okay with having a few stragglers of blonde on the red side. The reason I do that is because it is much easier to dye blonde hair red than it is to bleach the red hair. It will just come out like a strawberry blonde, you know, best case scenario, and so I don't like doing that. Obviously, you know, if I do that every single time, the blonde side becomes sort of less and less, so I kind of try to be as perfect as possible. Like I said, this is why I let my boyfriend kind of do the last little bit of run through, so that stuff is very, very minimal. The thing that's also really annoying, I don't know if it's maybe just my head of hair, but sort of that last quarter at the bottom is the most annoying. I don't know why, but my hair just naturally falls in a zigzag, so it's just extra hard getting that really straight line. Which is where you can see I'm getting a little frustrated. So you can see like a really nice straight line kind of from the top up to the bottom until like kind of the last quarter, and then it's sort of a little bit wonky. So it frustrates me every single time, but I do it anyway. Hello and welcome to my chaotic bleaching. I wanted to quickly explain what you were about to see because it is not how I intended or wanted it to go. Not to outsource any responsibility here, but I do want to preface this voiceover by saying that because bleach is very much a chemical, I always do my best to be fully awake and functioning when I bleach my hair. If anything bad or unexpected happens throughout the process, I need to rely on my quick thinking skills to ensure minimal hair fallout. As I had already stated in the intro, I had a big event happen in my personal life that really derailed me this year, and it took me a bit of time to even want to do my hair, essentially. I thought that I was ready, I did have that excitement back, but I noticed very quickly that I lacked the required focus. It doesn't help that I hadn't done a job like this before with significant regrowth, so I was already fighting an uphill battle. But alas, here we are, and I paid the price, which you will see later. So one thing that I figured out is that because of the larger regrowth, simply pulling the hair taut like I normally do was just not enough to ensure saturation and coverage. I have a board that I use when I have to bleach with foils because you can lay the foil down, put bleach on the foil, then pull the hair on top of it, and then basically cover the section with more bleach, making sure you paint sideways as well as up and down. So that you can make sure that all the hair has been covered. Even when you take thin sections, if you don't spread the hair out enough, it can cause you to miss hair, which means you will have patches of non-bleached hair. And do we want that? Absolutely not. I used the board, which you will see, but I did not use foils because I knew that I was going to overlap bleach on the already lightened hair. And the last thing I need is for that area to be even more insulated and cause breakage. Turns out this was a very good idea because I had breakage even without the foils. So because I had to adapt to this new way to apply the bleach before going in for the roots, I was out of my element and my confidence in my abilities was really, really low. The more I did, the more I felt like I was screwing up. The further up I went, the more whack my sections became. I already struggle with clean sectioning in the sense that it's never fully a straight line, but normally my sections are at least straight enough. And because of this flaw, I focus on making sure that the sections I do take are thin as hell and not tangled. As long as they are thin, I know I will have the coverage needed. So you will see that the further up my head I go, the more unhinged it looks. Any professionals out there that happen to watch this are probably internally screaming. And all I can say to that watching this back is, yeah, same. I am disappointed in myself. Trust me, I know that I can do so much better than this, but it is what it is. Another mistake I made here, I think, is that I used a 20 volume developer the entire time. When I just have the roots to do, I can get through my hair fast enough that using the same volume developer is totally fine. This time, however, because I had a different method, it took me so much longer to get to the front sections that I really think I should have used a 10 volume developer in the back and then 20 volume in the front. That way the back could sit longer and process without risking too much damage. The bleach that I used here has a max processing time of 45 minutes and the back sat likely for more than an hour in total. Anyways, I take this as a lesson learned. It sucks that this happened to me when I'm growing out my hair because I am trying to only trim my ends every 4 months or so. I think the only reason that I did not have to chop off my hair is because of how much I take care of it on any given day, to be honest. I did have to make some sacrifice with the lightening level this time around, but I was thankfully able to fix it with the following times that I bleached my roots. I will go over those decisions in this video shortly. Anyway, enjoy the rest of my application time lapse, and I shall return again for the quick voiceover when I go in for the roots. Hello again, mes amis. Here we are going in for the roots, or at least that was the plan, because as it turns out, I bleached too close to my scalp and the bleach swelled and ended up covering like 90% of my roots already. So lesson learned here is that to be on the safe side, leave a bigger area out versus smaller. I noticed this when I went to grab the same sections, or at least as best I could, and saw no brown roots. At first I thought it would just be the back section because this is where I went in first, but as I go further, I noticed that this happened with the entire area. The only roots that were actually left out were the roots in the middle of my head where I sectioned the blonde from the red side. As I covered those, I did go through the blonde to triple check that I did not miss any areas, and any areas that I thought I might have some brown roots, I went over again. My hair was so dry and tangled that it was really hard to pull the sections that I needed, so in this time lapse, the sections are even more unhinged. You will see what came out in the shower shortly, but like I said, the fallout did continue, and my blonde side is now pretty thin compared to the red side. I don't have thick hair, but I also don't have thin hair, but I do have a lot of hair, so I can immediately tell the difference on both sides, but thankfully, visually, you can't. Unless you go through my hair or compare both sides in a braid, you just can't tell, which is probably best case scenario in this case. That is all I have to say for this segment, so please enjoy the rest, and I shall meet you on the other side. Okay, so I am back from my quick spot check, kind of the second round of bleach. I'll put an insert here as to how that looked like. It's not completely perfect, but it's just right in the middle, so when I have my hair open, it's not going to be so much of a problem. I decided to kind of stop it at that point. I left it in for about 7 minutes, heavily diluted. I had a hair mask on. I just want to keep the integrity of my hair as much as possible because well, in the shower there was more fallout than usual, which I half expected just because I had to put on way more bleach and I was obviously not as experienced with that amount of regrowth. So all in all, I feel like it's okay, but I'll quickly kind of show you what I mean. So last time I did a brush test. I don't want to touch my hair right now. I have the hair mask in. I'm letting it sit in that braid. And I'm going to let the mask sit overnight. But just to quickly kind of show you, this is kind of here, the fallout of my hair. This is kind of the same amount that kind of fell out in the shower and then again when I brushed. So I would say this is about kind of normal when there's a little bit of a challenge when it comes to bleach. So not too concerning, but definitely way more than usual than I've had in a while. So I'm not a super fan of that. But, you know, it's fine.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
We win some, we lose some, and I'm okay with how it looks. There's a little bit of banding, but I'm assuming with, the toner, it's gonna even it a little bit more out, and it's really just if you look super closely. But yeah, now I'm gonna move on to the red. Bonjour! Alright guys, in full transparency, it's been a couple of days, so it's not quite right after I did everything. Reason being is I wanted to kind of take stock of my hair breakage. Thankfully, most of the breakage actually happened kind of on the lower back part of my blonde, which makes sense because that's where I started. So there is a little bit of breakage here, but it does kind of read as baby hair, so I'm not actually too upset that that's where it is. When I'm brushing, there's a few hairs that still come out, but actually most of it came out just on that first day. So I'm really happy that it's slowed down, which means we're on a good trajectory. Again, hair masks, conditioner, I'm just dousing the bleach part of my hair with that just to make sure that it holds its integrity as much as possible. So there is a little bit, obviously you probably saw that, you know, a little bit of banding when I did the bleach at first, just because I had that big kind of dark part of my hair that I had to go through. Thankfully, the toner did tone that brassiness down. So it's really when you kind of look close up that you'll see a little bit of a difference, but overall with the toner, it's kind of evened it out enough that it looks really good. So overall, it worked out. I love it. It's great for the summer. Also, bonus is I did try it on with my extensions and the color still matches, so that's great. So when I do the reveal, I'll also show you how it looks like with extensions. And that will start right now. As always, thank you for watching my video. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I hope you really like it. Au revoir. Until next time.